Welcome to Your Capital What's Up. I am Chuck Wiger, your area state senator. Thank you very much for watching. Today we're going to talk about MS, multiple sclerosis, and we recently had a day at the Capitol where we heard from a number of volunteers and others working on what we can do to address MS in our state and on the planet as well. There's a number of initiatives and things that are going on, and I am very pleased to have a couple of constituents actually that came to visit me. Sarah Anderson from White Bear Lake, welcome to our show. And Heather Svensson in North St. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you're both involved as coming here to the Capitol. And Sarah, we'll start with you and tell us about MS.
Sure. So multiple sclerosis, otherwise known as MS, is a chronic neurological and autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord. And then it varies from person to person as to the presentation of the signs and symptoms of MS. So everyone kind of comes with different signs and symptoms, whether it's fatigue or visual disturbances or bladder and bowel dysfunction or gait disturbances. So everyone kind of has varying signs and symptoms, and then also everyone has varying severities and varying progressions of the disease.
How many people does it impact roughly?
Sure. In the U.S., about 400,000
400,000. And oftentimes when people come to the Capitol, there might be a personal story to share.
Yes, yep, and I know that me and Heather have some personal stories and how we got involved with the MS Society. And it's been a great help for caregivers as well as people with MS as well as their friends and family.
Thank you. Heather, you also are so active and employed by the Society.
Yes.
Tell us about the statewide organization.
So I work for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society of the Upper Midwest chapter, which covers 4 states, which is Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa. But throughout the United States, we have several different chapters. Our mission for the MS Society is really to help people with MS, their caregivers, to help them deal with the disease presently. So we do lots of research to find different ways to help people with their symptom management. There is not a cure right now, but we're hoping to get there. We also provide direct financial assistance to a lot of our clients and caregivers. And also we have a variety of programs. We have a Majestic Shores Resort, which is kind of a camp for adults with MS. We also provide a youth camp for children that have parents or grandparents that have MS. And just a variety of other support groups and things that can help people just with their day-to-day activities.
We'd like next, Sarah and Heather, for you to talk a little bit more about personal experiences, the state activities as well, and for the State Society, what are some of the awareness programs that you're doing where people can learn more about MS and how they can get involved in your efforts to combat this condition?
Well, the MS Society offers a lot of opportunities to be able to get involved. The nice thing about the MS Society is we do all of our own fundraising and special donations from people, so we do not get any state or federal funding for our organization. And many of the fundraisers are really popular in Minnesota. We have a big walk. We have several bike rides. Some of them are 30 to 60 miles, one's 150, and then one's a long week called TRAM that's over 200 miles. And
these are, excuse me, on your website, I believe.
They're on our website, so we have a great place to start at the website, but you can also call our 1-800 number to learn more, and that's 1-800-582-5296. Otherwise, nationalmssociety.org is where you would find information about our fundraising efforts.
If you could restate those one more time.
Sure. 1-800-582-5296 or 1-800-FIGHT-MS. Our website is www.nationalmssociety.org.
Thank you, Heather. And Sarah, as a part of the day at the Capitol, you were joined by many others sharing stories and how it affects people. Could you, share with viewers how this impacts one's family?
Sure. So I grew up with my mom had MS. She was diagnosed in her early 20s and had it for a span of 30 years. And she initially was diagnosed in the early 80s before any of the disease-modifying therapies were available. So she wasn't put on therapy initially and had the progressive form of the disease. The first kind of sign of the disease was her optic neuritis, which kind of causes holes in your vision. And then from there, it kind of progressed to slowly, as I was getting older, needing to use a wheelchair for longer distances and use a scooter. And my parents built a house so that there was an elevator in it for her to be able to move freely about the house and whatnot. And just kind of growing up, I knew that I wanted to help others, both professionally and personally, with their health. And so I attended pharmacy school, and I'm currently in pharmacy school, and hoping to work as a medication therapy management pharmacist for people with the disease.
Well, how laudable.
Thank you. Yeah. And it, like I said, it can be stressful on the family in regards to my dad did stay at home stayed at home and worked from home to be able to be the primary caregiver for my mom as well.
Are there support groups out there then to help, or especially when your mother was diagnosed so early in her early 20s?
Yes, yep, there are support groups throughout the state and really throughout the country. But yeah, my mom did attend. I'm from Rochester, and my mom did attend some support groups down in Rochester. And I know there's a lot of great support groups in the metro area for various people and caregivers as well as family members to attend. There's actually a 20s and 30s group, so I've been involved with that, and they have happy hours and different events to go to, and it's your people who are in their 20s and 30s who have MS, as well as children of parents with MS and whatnot who attend those events, and it's a great way to bond and to be able to discuss any fears or any joys or whatnot that comes with having to live with someone with MS and the fears and joys that come with that.
Thanks. And Heather, you talked about the services of the society. Could you share with us again some of the early warning signs or signals? We know it's very complex. There's no cure yet. But what are some of the things to be looking out for in case there's a viewer watching that may be experiencing this or know of someone?
So a lot of times when I talk to clients that are getting diagnosed with MS, they may have had some vision issues. They call it optic neuritis. It's double vision or blurry vision. That doesn't always mean that you have MS, but that could be an indicator. Sometimes people have numbness on one side of their body. They may think they're having a stroke, but it could be some reasons for getting it checked out. They could be just having problems with their gait, walking. Sometimes cognition can be a factor. So it's really hard, and there isn't really a definitive way to diagnose MS. There's not a blood test that can say, oh, you have MS. There's a little bit of a process that happens. So sometimes it can be difficult to get a diagnosis right away, and that can be kind of frustrating as well.
Yeah. Heather, could you tell us about the treatment then? And for your mom's case, and how that may have changed over the years, and your own ambition as a pharmacist, to help in the cure and treatment for people. But what's done?
Sure. So there's currently 8 disease-modifying therapies on the market, most of them in the injectable forms, and they, as far as physicians and neurologists prescribing the medications, it's kind of a trial and error approach. There's not really a first-line treatment, second-line treatment, whatnot. And so it's kind of based on the person's kind of wish as far as what kind of side effects they're willing to compromise for, to kind of the risk and benefit, weighing the risks and benefits of each therapy, and deciding for themselves what's best for them. And there are 2 new oral agents on the market, teriflunomide and Gilenya.
Oh, yeah.
And
What was the second one? I'm not going to remember.
Fingolimod.
Okay.
So
And there's information available potentially on your website
Yes.
regarding this,
Yeah.
because I'm sure you're looking to provide as much information as you can. These are approved.
Yes, these are
Drugs,
approved
too.
therapies.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. And so slowly, over the next 20 years, the amount of medications to treat MS are expected to double.
Okay.
So in the next 20 years, they're expected to grow to almost 10 agents on the market, or almost, I guess, 16 agents on the market.
And
you
Heather,
know, the other
Heather.
thing that I was just, the therapies are very expensive
I'm
medications.
going to ask.
Yeah, and so we have to be careful, and one of our agendas for advocacy is really making sure that people get affordable health care. And it's very hard to have people afford this medication if they have high copays. A lot of our clients are on Social Security disability, so their finances aren't as good as it was when they worked. So sometimes it's very hard for them to get on the medications or stay on because of this problem. But with the Affordable Care Act coming through, we're going to see more help with that, and hopefully we'll not have as many problems as we've had in regards to costs.
You know, what good is the medication if you don't have access?
Right. And these
So-
medications can cost up to $50,000 per year.
Oh,
So.
Right.
okay. In terms of the fundraisers, you mentioned, you know, the bike-a-thons and other items, and we encourage the viewers, if they know of others that'd like to participate. I know many that do, but again, just go to the website and
Yes.
Yeah.
find
Or
out.
again, call us and we'll give you information. If you're not very savvy on the web, then we'll take your call and we'll give you all the information you need as well.
Great. And as I mentioned earlier, both of you are constituents out our way. We appreciate your activism out there. But I just, if you'd like to share too, why you moved to the East Metro area, and in your case in White Bear Lake.
Yeah. My husband and I just bought our first house in White Bear Lake in December, and my husband is a ESL teacher at White Bear Lake South Campus High School. So we
Okay.
just bought a house about a block away from that school, so he can walk to work, which is nice, and I'll be driving a little ways to my work in Minnetonka, but so we're loving the area, and it's been a great experience to move into our first house.
Well, welcome to
Thank
the
you.
White Bear area.
I've
And
lived
Heather.
in North St. Paul for, 13 or 14 years, but my husband has always grown up in North St. Paul, and his whole family all live within about a 5-mile radius, and he's got like 6 aunts and an uncle, and so
The
everybody-
Svensson name
the
is
Svensson name,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that's the early name would be the early name.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
So, we've enjoyed North St. Paul. It's great. My son is going to be going to kindergarten at Richardson, so we're very excited and really like the area.
Good. Heather, Sarah, thank you so much for coming to the Capitol to share the importance of recognition of MS, the disease, what needs to be done for additional activities, for telling more people about what it could do to one's life, sharing what it's done to yours. You're making your life, your career devoted to helping others as well, and you're spreading information with people throughout our area. Thanks again, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you
Thanks for
so
having
much.
us.
We appreciate it.
And viewers, I encourage you to contact the website for the MS Society, as Heather shared with us earlier, if you have questions, or call that 800 number. And if you have questions of me, give me a call. My cell phone, yes, it's really my cell phone, 651-770-0283. For Your Capitol What's Up, I'm Chuck Wiger. Thank you very much for watching.